Hare Krishna. Sukhava Mataji, are you ready? You're on mute, Mataji, if you're speaking.
Just few more minutes. Can you continue, Kirtan, Mataji, please?
Sure. Sorry, Maharaj.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please welcome to His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today we are going to read a from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.28. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
thank you so much. Okay, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. You're welcome to the daily call, and if when you're ready, you can take over, please.
Okay. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gena Jana Shilakaya Chaksu Unmaritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapti Yena Bhutale Swayamrupa Kadammayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Rakha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavam Chasi Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Scha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhuve Vachapatikanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, verse number 28. Alabdha trina bhumya dehir asabam asampraptargya sunritaha agya avagyatam evan matnam Manyamanas Chukopaha. Translation. Translation. The king not received any formal welcome by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. Purport. The law of reception in the codes of Vedic principles states that even if an enemy is received at home, he must be received in all respect. He should not be given a chance to understand that he has come into the house of an enemy. When Lord Krishna, accompanied by Arjuna and Bhima, approached Jarasandha and Magadha, respectful enemies were given a royal reception by King Jarasandha. The guest enemy named Bhima was to fight with Jarasandha, and yet they were given a grand reception. At night they used to sit down together as friends and guests, and in the day they used to fight, risking life and death. That was the law of reception. The reception law enjoins that a poor man who has nothing to offer to his guests should be good enough to offer a straw mat for sitting, a glass of water for drinking, and some sweet words. Therefore, to receive a guest, either friend or foe, there is no expense. It is only a question of good manners. When Maharaj Parikshit entered the door of Shamak Rishi, he did not expect a royal reception by the Rishi, because he knew that saints and rishis are not materially rich people. But he never expected that a seat of straw, a glass of water, and some sweet words would be denied to him. He was not an ordinary guest, nor was he an enemy of the Rishi, and therefore the cold reception by the Rishi astonished the king greatly. As a matter of fact, the king was right to get angry with the Rishi when he needed a glass of water very badly. To become angry in such a grave situation is not unnatural for the king, but because the king himself was not less than a great saint, his becoming angry and taking actions was astonishing. So it must be accepted that if it was ordained by the Supreme Lord, the king was a great devotee of the Lord, and the saint was also good as the king. But by the will of the Lord, the circumstances were created that they became ways to become the kings unattached to family connection and government activities, and thus becoming a completely surrendered soul unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. The merciful Lord sometimes creates such awkward positions for his pure devotee in order to drag them towards himself from the mire of material existence. But outwardly, the situation appears to be frustrating from the devotees. The devotees of the Lord are always under the protection of the Lord, and in any condition, frustration or success, the Lord is the supreme guide for the devotees. The pure devotees therefore accept all conditions of frustration as blessings from the Lord. Om Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, here we're having so many different principles that seem to be somewhat contradictory. But in Vedic philosophy, Vedic science, bhakti, there is never any contradiction. It's just different angles of vision or different aspects of behavior that applies in different situations. And sometimes they seem contrary. Was the king wrong for getting angry, as it says here? No, because he was a guest, and he was an honored guest. He was the king of the entire world coming into the home of this sage. But again, it says it was astonishing that he did become angry, because as a great saint also, and not only a king, a great saint would not be disturbed by such, what we say, lack of respect. So we have two things here. This is one of the most controversial, or you might say dynamic, situations in the Bhagavatam, where there are so many angles to look at this from. And each of the angles are right from the angle you look at it. But then again, when you see all of the different contradictions, you sometimes become bewildered. What is the standard for explanation? Is there an explanation that fits the standard? And the answer is that beyond all of these different principles of etiquette and behavior, there is the hand of the Lord, which will, in many cases, supersede the basic principles of existence. And in this case, the Lord allowed that arrangement to happen, and so the king would detach himself from his family and from his worldly duties as a government ruler. And that was the outcome. And what was the reason for that? So there would be the speaking of the Bhagavatam for the entire world. So Maharaj Parikshit was an instrument to be used by the Lord for a higher purpose. And this is interesting because the Lord doesn't choose just anyone for such purposes. In other words, when he wants to do something that is beyond the normal protocol, he goes to those devotees who are completely surrendered. One who is not completely surrendered wouldn't be chosen like that. And just like we have the same example with Arjuna, when Arjuna apparently comes under the illusion that he's afraid to fight on the battlefield. He gives materialistic reasons for not fighting. All of them seem good from that point of view. They're moral, they're religious. But Krishna ultimately calls him a fool because Krishna has another plan. And because Krishna is the supreme controller, he is the author of morality and civility also, and also religious principles. He is called Adi Guru. It's another name for Krishna, which means that he establishes religious principles through his words, especially in the Bhagavad Gita and in other places throughout the scriptures. So sometimes a devotee finds themselves in a very difficult situation where it apparently seems to be something that is contrary to their best interest or something that is detrimental to their best interest. But they know the hand of the Lord is there. Only those who are fully surrendered can see that. Those who are partially surrendered will make conjecture in that way and think, oh yes, maybe it is the Lord's arrangement, but still they can't accept it. Although they try, because there is still some material attachment in their consciousness, they consider this reverse in life as an obstacle to their best interests, either spiritually or maybe even material, depending on the nature of the obstacle. So we have a very interesting situation here, and we're going to see how the king reacts to this situation. These are the upcoming verses. So, is there a right? Is there a wrong in any of these? You can't say there is a right and a wrong, but apparently there is a right and a wrong. So, and one of the wrong is that the law of reception was breached. He wasn't given the proper reception that he deserved. And in his situation, he was thirsty. And he had been traveling and he hadn't had any water for a long time. And just to deny a person a glass of water or not be able to respond to their personal needs is considered to be a breach of proper behavior and etiquette. But Shamak Rishi wasn't, in one sense, not conscious of the king's presence. So he was in meditation. We found a similar situation where Lord Shiva was in meditation when Daksha walked into the assembly of many great sages and saints and others. And Shiva was in meditation. And Daksha was very much inclined to receive respect and honor from others. And he was also respectable. And the whole audience, practically everyone, respected him except Lord Shiva. But Shiva was absorbed in thinking of the Supreme Lord within his heart, and he didn't even notice Daksha coming in. So a lot of times there is what we might say a situation where two people are right, but still it causes conflict. When you take right from one level, it's wrong. When you take right from another level, it's right. Or correct, you might say. That's a better word. It's correct. It's the proper way to react to a situation. But then again, when the Lord has some greater mission that he implants upon his pure devotee, then sometimes ordinary people cannot see it. And most of the time they can't. And therefore they take the issue in the wrong way, or they find criticism in it. But ultimately it was for the benefit of everyone. And that will be given in the longer run here. But the law of reception is actually not a small thing. Maybe in Western countries we don't have that kind of culture, that the law of reception is not so much given importance. But in Vedic culture, a guest in one's home is considered to be a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And sometimes it's even said that the guest is the Supreme Personality of Godhead coming to your home. So how this law of reception is given such high prominence in human culture. And because it's so important, then communications always are in line with the proper understanding. And when it's breached, then there is a breakdown of relationships and communications like that. We have the example of Bhrigu Muni when he came to see his father, Lord Brahma. He didn't respect his father by offering obeisances. It says that when the children come into the presence of their parents, they must offer obeisances to their parents. That is proper etiquette. Nowadays, of course, we don't find that because children are not trained right, or they're trained in the wrong way, or the parents don't really enforce that so much. But when we lose respect for superiors, there's a breakdown in relationships. And when there's a breakdown in relationships, the inferiors, or those in a lesser position, lose out on getting the benefit of the superiors who are there to guide them and to teach them. So etiquette behavior is really as it's mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in relationship to Sanatana Goswami, who was the ideal person for Vaishnava etiquette and behavior. He called it the ornament of a devotee. To use that example or analogy, an ornament is something that stands out. For instance, when someone is dressed very nicely, they may have a particular ornamentation that is outstanding in their dress. And that becomes the most noticeable thing about them. For instance, just like a person might wear a flower in their lapel, or a woman might have a beautiful bunch of hair with some beautiful flowers in it, or she might be putting on a beautiful, beautiful brooch or some necklace. And these things that stand out on their persona it's called ornamentation, and it's the most noticeable. And it gives pleasure to those who see it also. And so therefore, Vaishnava etiquette is a pleasure-giving quality to others. and therefore it's respectable. Therefore, those who follow proper Vaishnava etiquette are the most respectable. It's even considered more important than knowledge, because knowledge without behavior is just some kind of, what would be the word? It's some pretense. If you're actually in knowledge, you should also have behavior that is concomitant or supportive of your knowledge. Otherwise, your knowledge is not so much appreciated, and it's really not complete knowledge either. So out of all of the qualities of the human culture, behavior and etiquette are considered to be the most outstanding. And here we have a particular one called the law of reception. There are many categories of etiquette and behavior, and this is mentioned in books and in scriptures also. Devotees have written books about this, and of course you'll find it very much in the Bhagavatam, very much so. So a devotee is really seen according to their behavior. And the ultimate understanding of behavior, as it's explained in different situations, is that the devotee is always giving respects to others. You can see here how the law of reception works. That even if an enemy comes into your home, you should respect them in such a way that they don't even remember that they're your enemy. So this is how essential it is. When Prabhupada was listening to one lady describing a particular spiritual personality, he was a guru or some, and she was explaining his philosophy. Prabhupada said, well, what is his behavior? And then she was a little bit hesitant because she understood his behavior wasn't up to the standard. And so Prabhupada wasn't interested so much. Behavior is, here you'll see how it can break relationships or it can make relationships like that. Just like I was just talking to devotees just recently during the retreat we had in Italy last weekend, and it was interesting how a devotee's name, sometimes when we call a devotee, we shortcut their name, or we say one part of the name and we don't say the whole thing. And I was talking to some devotees, and they were explaining to me that when you do that, you actually change the meaning of the name itself. When you include the whole name, then you actually give the meaning as it is intended to be given. So that's important too, that when we address each other, we don't, instead of saying Sue Devi, sometimes we say Sue, or, there's other shortcut terminologies. Sometimes it's done in a very innocent way or a very lighthearted way. But if it becomes a culture of minimizing a person's name, and that means we're actually minimizing the person's importance also. So names are also very much important, and how we address each other like that. And so here, this is an interesting, and you'll see how this apparently leads to a catastrophe. It's what is that catastrophe? A young boy, who was the son of Shamak Rishi, who is arrogant, who is a show-off to his fellow playmates, wants to make a point by showing his Brahma Tejas, his power. So he curses the king unnecessarily. And that's another principle of how the Brahminical culture, we know Brahminical culture is the foundation of human culture. Without Brahminical culture, there is no culture. Brahminical culture means the Varnashram system, which is given by Krishna as the standard for behavior in terms of social development and also a basis for spiritual elevation. And when that's lost, then society is, as Prabhupada would say, is more like on the level of animals. So, in the sense that no one follows any particular standard of behavior, people do whatever they want to do. And that's pretty much the effects of this age of Kali. And therefore, becomes very difficult for people to communicate with each other nowadays. We find communication is not so easy, both in speech and in relationships that come by way of a personal association. And that is all due to the feature of Kali Yuga, where everything has become cheapened by this age, especially relationships. Okay, so these are some principles we can think about. We can open it up for discussion.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for highlighting the importance of our behavior and our etiquette. We have got such a great heritage of this etiquette from our senior rishis and Vedas and scriptures. But I don't think so everyone knows about these things as well. You know, they should be more focused on teaching these things as well, isn't it? From the very beginning, like, I don't think so that is happening really at the moment right now.
Yeah, I've given many seminars on Vaishnava etiquette, which are recorded, and some of them are available. And I think the most extensive seminars that I have given have been Vaishnava etiquette, because there is a whole dynamic culture behind it, along with there's categories of behavior depending on the persons involved and the situations.
Okay, thank you. I've started asking, but devotees, if you have any questions, any comments, or any doubts, please raise your hands or put it in the chat. I can read for you on your behalf. Let me check if there's any hands raised at the moment. I don't see any at the moment hand raised. So Guru Maharaj, I'll continue with one more question if it is all right. Here, you mentioned about the contradiction behavior. Now, so many times we are not that qualified to see what Krishna's plan is, basically. And we won't understand in the situation how to behave, because if you do something that is wrong, if you don't do something that is wrong, how do we make out at the spur of that moment, in that situation? What should we do?
Well, we're meant to be able to imbibe these behavior characteristics or traits from our peers, and I'm sorry, from our superiors. They're meant to teach these things. And if they don't teach it, then we have the Shastras that which also give guidance in these things also. The interaction between Sanatana Goswami and Srila Haridas Thakur really illustrates some of these characteristics. And there's been books. Bhakti Charu Swami has written a book on Vaishnava etiquette. Satsarup Maharaj has written a book on Vaishnava etiquette. The devotees from Chowpatty in Mumbai have written a manual of Vaishnava etiquette. Madhavananda Prabhu, who puts out the KK Bindu, has given classes on what is called the culture of respect. It's a series of recorded classes taking the principle of respect as the main topic. So all we do is a little research. We can fine-tune that. The thing is, we all grow up in different places around the world, and sometimes personal culture and respect is taught in a different way accordingly. Some cultures more than others. But the standard is the Vedic culture.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, learning every time, learning and listening to the classes does help a lot to improve up. And then we have to meditate on that as well, not only just listen and then forget it, isn't it?
Mhm. And
Okay. Yeah.
language is also different. So the meanings of language may be different from culture to culture.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. But like, you know, when we think about it, that we are from India and we have been, like, I can say for myself that we have been taught about this culture a lot, but then it feels so sad when we see it is disappearing in the new generation, and the generation before is not like ready to pass on those good systems to the younger generation, which is sad, actually, really sad.
Yeah, then communications break down
Mm,
and relationships become strained sometimes or misunderstood.
yeah, true. Thank you very much. I think Silpesh Prabhu has got a hand raised, but Silpesh Prabhu, before that, can I just read the Moasini Radha Devi Dasi has put the question on the chat?
No, better take the live questions. The chats comes after.
Okay, fine. All right. Silpesh Prabhu, you can go for it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. So glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I believe Somakrishi's son Shringi, if I got that correct, when he cursed Maharaj Parikshit, it said that that's when the age of downfall of Brahmin started. Is that correct? And how did that
Yeah,
happen?
that's how Kali entered into the age, because you know if you've been following along our classes, you see that Maharaj Pariksha didn't give Kali any place where he could spread his poison, but he found it. He found it in this Brahmin boy, and that became the beginning where such great personalities as King Parikshit was cursed unnecessarily. The Brahmins misused their power. The misuse of Brahminical power. That's what happened there. And you see that also. And the Brahmins actually as time went on, the Brahmins became so proud of their position that they considered the other Varnas to be, especially those who were Sudras, they considered them to be, outcasts. But that's not the philosophy. That's not the proper behavior. The Brahmins started to think that if you're born in a Brahmin family, you're a Brahmin. But that's contrary to the principles. Born in a Brahmin family is an advantage, but that does until you practice Brahminical culture, you cannot be known as a Brahmin simply by janma, by birth. Prabhupada talks a lot about that, about the downfall of Brahminical culture and the misuse of one's position. Yeah.
That swept into all parts of society now, hasn't it, as a result?
Yeah. Yeah. It's everywhere. A flagrant disregard for authority.
Does it answer your question, Silpesh Prabhu? Are you okay?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. So,
Okay. Okay, Veronica Mukherjee.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
I am from Argentina, and I'm so grateful to be here listening to your words and the classes and all the devotees. Thank you very much. It's something incredible for me to be here. I was thinking about the relationship between these words of Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular part, with the concept of taking shelter. Because I think when someone asks us for a glass of water or a few words, and maybe we are in a situation that we are not in a mood to receive guests, but to be conscious that it is like when we look for shelter in Krishna's shelter, and we want to be attended. Can you understand my poor English? I'm sorry for that.
I think I understand. We're looking for shelter, and we don't get shelter. But sometimes that happens. But doesn't happen with Krishna. Krishna is always available to take it, as long as we follow the principles of taking shelter, how to take shelter. How to take shelter doesn't mean to ask the Lord for material things. That's not shelter. No. Taking shelter means to ask the Lord for the ability to engage in his devotional service. That's shelter. What is that shelter? We're sheltering ourselves away from the effects of material life. Therefore, we're getting protection through the mercy of the Lord, who gives us shelter away from Maya. Yeah.
Thank you very
So that will happen sometimes, but not with Krishna. It might happen with some person who is in a position to give shelter but doesn't give shelter. That can happen also.
I was thinking about the position that I can take when someone asks for shelter, for simply a glass of water or a few words. It's an opportunity for me to remember that I can serve the others.
Yeah. You should think, yes, this is my good fortune. I have a chance to serve someone. And if I can serve someone, I'm serving Krishna's part and parcel, because everyone is connected to Krishna. So one is doing some benefit for someone. These are ordinary things, but they lead to the proper consciousness that is needed for worshiping in the Lord. If we minimize the less important things, apparently, then we will never be able to understand what is really important. That's why, as I explained, behavior is more important than knowledge.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
So Madatri, where are you? You look like you're on some kind of planet or something. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, you were asking me.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I'm in Templant now. I'm driving Sri Devi to doctor and little bit listening you. Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't miss your lecture, but so I'm here. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
There we go.
Hare Bol.
Okay. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Ram Mataji. That was a good question. Revati Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. So my question is, Guru Maharaj, about respond and react. You always mention like most of the time we come with offenses
Guru
because we
Maharaj, call me. Where are you? You are in the another place.
so most of the time we commit offenses because we react to the situations instead of respond. So how should we practice, and why do we always try, but why do we react? How can we practice responding instead of reacting to the situation?
Well, the answer is to be present. If you're reacting, you're not present. You're responding, you're present. The reaction is due to our more like a mechanical way of responding. But if you're present, you see the situation, then you respond according to the situation.
Mhm.
Be present. Don't be somewhere else.
Okay. So we have to understand the situation and just be
Take the
present.
situation as it is rather than just simply what we say. When you react, I mean, response requires reaction, but reaction has a certain connotation which you're using, which means that we're not thoughtful. We're just responding without thoughtfulness.
Yes, Gurvash, yeah. Yeah, but sometimes I also feel like, we react because we react to a situation because we don't have that harmonious relationship with the person we are interacting. So we spontaneously react to
Yeah,
the situation.
That's a human trait, but we should be careful because it can commit offenses. Mhm.
Yes, Gurvash. Yeah, thank you, Gurvash. Hare Krishna.
There you go.
Thank you. That was a really good question, Revati Mataji. I might have another following question, but before that, shall I read the question from the chat, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, you take the chat questions when there's no more.
Yeah, there's no more hand raised at the moment. So,
Yeah.
anyone else have got question?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Mohsini Radha Devidasi is asking, that means, does this law of reception apply also for the unexpected and not invited visitors? So does the law of reception apply also for non-invited and unexpected guests as well, basically?
Well, that's given in that even if your enemy comes, you don't expect your enemy to come. But if they happen to come, then it says, yeah, you treat them in the same way. But they forget, yeah.
Does it answer your question, Mohsini Radha Mataji?
Yeah, it applies across the board. Yeah.
Mm,
Yes, thank you very much.
okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Raj, on that one, react and respond, and again the question of behavior. So many times people have got the bad experience of also inviting enemies or not good people in the house, and then they suffer, and that experience is like whenever other people, when they remember, they think, oh no, we don't want to go through all those hassles. So we have to be careful who we invite in the house and who we respect when they come. We don't want everyone coming in. So how do we go about that situations? Because even in the Ramayana, we see that Sita Mata, she did everything to thinking Ravan was a sadhu, and then she suffered a lot. So it's difficult, isn't it? Situations are.
Yeah, she was ignorant of the situation.
Mhm. So how do we know? We don't know. We are not that clever to understand.
They say if you want a guest, uninvited guest to leave,
Hmm.
then don't do those things. Don't give sweet words, don't give a sitting place, don't give a glass of water.
Hmm.
That's how you respond, by saying, by giving that. You should respect. This is one aspect, and it's complete. But they say if someone comes and you don't receive them, then they'll find reason to leave.
Hmm.
You
But in
don't-
that way, do we commit the offense of not?
Depends on who it is and what the situation is.
Hmm.
Say someone wants to come and argue with you, so you might see that ahead of time.
Hmm.
You can try to ameliorate that by giving them some nice, sweet words. But if they begin creating a disturbance and
Hmm.
you're not receptive to that, then you just ignore them. You go about your duties in the house and make like they're not there.
Be more practical, isn't it?
They get the point.
Okay, Gurman.
That's
Any questions? Any more questions? Any devotees have got?
That's
This is
not
a-
that's not the norm, but if it comes up, that's the way we should respond.
Yeah, no, most of the time we shouldn't be doing that, but sometimes if it is the worst scenario, then we
Give you an example with Srila Prabhupada. It was a little when Prabhupada was in Mayapur, and there was one god brother who would come to see him, and he would always complain about something or criticize other. Prabhupada would welcome him because he was a god brother, but then Prabhupada told Shruti Kirti Prabhu one time that if he comes, tell him that Swamiji is not available. Because Prabhupada always kept someone, some servant or some assistant to receive people who came to see Prabhupada, because he needed that. He couldn't do his work when people would just come anytime. So this person came the next day, and Shruti Kirti came out, and he said, yeah, well, actually, Swamiji is not available today. I gave some reason saying that he wasn't available. And the man became a little offended. He said, actually, Swamiji said I can come anytime. I'm always welcome. So why are you stopping me?
can.
There was a little, discord at the door there. Finally, Prabhupada came out, and Prabhupada saw the situation. And the man said to Prabhupada, he addressed Prabhupada and he said, he's stopping me from coming in to see you. I came to see you. And Prabhupada looked at Shruti Kirti and said, yes, why are you stopping him?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. That's how he saved the situation, basically.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what it means to be a personal servant.
Oh, get more and more my reasoning.
You're told what to do, and then when you do it, you get criticized. Another example was Prabhupada people would come up and touch Prabhupada's feet. And Prabhupada told Tamal Krishna Goswami, don't let anyone come up and touch my feet. And so then there was this big Pandal program.
Mm.
And one young man came and he was traveling. And that was Radhanath Swami, actually it was, when he first met Prabhupada. So he was accustomed to, when he would meet sadhus, he would go and touch their feet. So he was going over to touch Prabhupada's feet, and Tamal Krishna Goswami came up and stopped him.
Mm.
And he stopped. Prabhupada looked at Tamal Krishna Goswami and said, no, it's all right, he can touch my feet.
There it comes reaction and response, isn't it? How do we understand that?
Well, you have to see, if people touch your feet, they give you their karma sometimes. They give you
Yeah.
something. If they're
Mm.
sinful and you're not strong, then you can get sick. You'll get some physical ailment if you're not strong. If you're strong, you can withstand that. Depends how spiritually strong you are. And Prabhupada also would say, don't let anyone touch your feet unless they're initiated devotees. He said only devotees can touch feet of devotees. Outside people shouldn't do it. But if they do it, he says, and you can't stop it. So when they touch your feet, you touch them on the back with your hands, and that way the karma goes in and around and back to them again.
Oh, okay. That's good, Guru Maharaj. Because it works in the material, like, if suppose some youngster come and touch our feet, then that means we'll take their karma, is it?
If they're non-devotees, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get something. You can get some dreams. You can get some illness if you're not so strong. I mean, as a mother, if your son or your daughter touches your feet, that's fine.
No, of course, yeah.
They should
Rather take their karmas, yeah.
They should do that.
Yeah, they do. They're nice that way. But Guru Maharaj, in that respond, not only how the person comes to you, but in such a situation, it is really difficult. So many times we do react in the material world. We have got so many things in our mind about that situation. So as soon as somebody says something, instead of responding, we just react to it. How to stop that and think and respond properly? Because so it does help to respond nicely, because the reaction is what is there in mind, isn't it?
That you have to, as the word I said, be present.
Yeah.
Be present. You're not present, you'll react. If you're present, you'll consider what's happening, and then you'll react or not react accordingly. So that takes thoughtfulness. If you're subjected to the mode of passion, you will react. If you're acting more in the mode of goodness, you will be more thoughtful.
You have to think about the situation before you react, basically.
Yeah, some things you don't think about, because even if you react, it's the right thing. It's, this is not such a black and white situation. There's so many dynamics to it. Sometimes you react, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you think, sometimes you just, it depends on who it is, what's being said, where the situation is. Life is not just, black and white. It's very
Practical.
Diaper.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Devotees, any other questions? Please raise your hands. Is Retima? No, you don't have raised hand. Okay, fine. Anyone else? I can't see anyone else's hand raised. I can see Mohsini Radha Mataji asking, what about if we touch the feet of non-devotees? Guru Maharaj.
Why would you want to do that?
Maybe
How do we-
they're senior and to respect that person. Okay, go on, Mohsini Mataji. You're there. Go on. Answer.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, for example, someone has to touch feet of the others by profession, or for example, if our parents are not practicing Krishna consciousness, or someone is working in, for example, in kindergarten, and wash them if they got dirty or whatever. Like this different situations when we interact with non-devotees, then sometimes we have to touch their feet.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not, yeah, don't get so caught up in all of the details. Basically, if you want to show respects to someone, no matter who it is, you do it like this with folded hands. But if it comes that, just like if you go buy shoes, you know, and and the shoe guy is fitting the shoes on you to see if it fits, you know. Are you going to stop that? Just chant Hare Krishna and you'll be free from all of the actions, that's all. Prabhupada also said that when they touch your feet, just chant Hare Krishna. Or if you want to touch someone's feet, then that's up to you. Nobody can tell you not to.
Is it okay, Mohsini Mataji?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So it's the time is an hour already. Will you have some time for one round of chanting, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, chant. Let's chant for a while. Let me go get
Thank
my
you. Okay.
feet. Okay, sit straight. Keep your back straight. You can use this mudra for your other hand. This is the mudra of concentration. If you like. Usually we put our beads up to the level of our chest, like this, up here. And we concentrate carefully on the sound. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Yes, no. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Ram. Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram Hare Krishna. Hare Ram Hare Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna. Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for a lovely class and your time. And we really appreciate that always.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow for the next verse.
Yeah, 29, 1.18.29. Definitely.
Okay, Hare Krishna. My basic.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for today's class.
Yay.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. All the assembled Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Samyadatri.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Nice
for
to
begging
see you.
me.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yoga, yoga.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone.